In 2021, Volkswagen doubled the number of electric cars that they sold. So how many exactly was that of each model, and was this actually a good achievement? Hello my friends, welcome to the Electric Viking. My name is Sam Evans. I'm coming to you here from Melbourne, Australia, the place that just kicked out Novak Djokovic. Yes, anyway, moving on from that, welcome to the channel, you new subscribers. Great to have you here. Welcome back to everyone else. Now, I want to say a big shout out, a big thank you to our Patreon supporters on the channel. It's been a couple of new ones over the last few days. Welcome to the channel, guys. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. Just want to say it personally from me to you. Thank you. I really appreciate it. If you want to join the channel and support us, I'll put a link in the description below. So you can just click that link and jump on and give me some of your money. No, but in all seriousness, having Patreon supporters has made it possible for me to create this channel. So basically, I owe this channel to you guys. Thank you. So in 2021, Volkswagen sold 120,000 Volkswagen ID4s, 75,500 ID3s, 49,200 Audi e-trons, including the Sportback, 44,700 Skoda Enyaq, sort of mid-sized SUVs, 41,400 of the Volkswagen E-Up, which by the way is making a comeback due to popular demand, and 41,300 of the Porsche Taycan. Incredible, really, the fact that they sold, not that many less Porsche Taycans than they sold Volkswagen ID3s. It's hard to fathom that, really. But I think what's going on is this. I've been saying this for a long time now. When money is not an issue or an object, people invariably choose to go electric. Here you can see, instead of buying the 911, people are buying the Porsche Taycan. Same thing happens in China. When money makes very little difference in terms of the vehicle you get, people usually will choose an electric vehicle. Evidence of the fact that plug-in hybrids are not very popular in China and electric cars are. Plug-in hybrids only make up about 10% of all electrified sales in China. Now, despite overall car sales being down by 8% on the back of global supply chain and chip shortage issues, which is, to be honest, to be totally fair and objective, it's not an excuse of any kind at all, because plenty of car manufacturers were able to increase their sales numbers in 2021. The fact that Legacy Auto didn't do that, depending on the company, is not an excuse. It's an excuse. That's all it is. Now, Volkswagen sold more battery, electric, and plug-in vehicles in 2021 than they ever have, with more than 7% of all Volkswagen badged cars having been sold with a plug. That's good news. Now, Volkswagen's most popular fully electrified model was the Volkswagen ID4 crossover. I've got to say, I wouldn't mind one. I think they're a very practical vehicle. This topped the electric vehicle sales charts in Sweden, Denmark, Finland, and Ireland, and lived up to its billing as a world car in just its first year on sale in the market. By the way, the Volkswagen ID4 has become fairly popular in China too, but they've only just started ramping up sales in China. I think we're going to see a lot more sales of the ID4 next year or this year than we did last year. Now, Volkswagen delivered 120,000 ID4s globally, with 17,000 of those finding homes in the United States, where the ID4 still qualifies for electric car incentives. In other words, the United States government is more than happy to give German car companies money, but not to give General Motors or Tesla money to sell their cars. What a funny situation we find ourselves in right now. Hopefully they can change that very soon. It's taken too long. Now, the ID4 was followed by the ID3 with the 76,000 deliveries that I mentioned before, and the E-Up had the 41,500. Now, in addition to that, Volkswagen also delivered just under 18,000 of the ID6, which is a 3-row battery electric SUV, has 7 seats, that despite being absolutely pitch perfect for North America, is currently exclusive to the Chinese market, says the Electric. Now, I think this is mental. Why do car companies do this kind of thing? Doesn't make any sense. To be honest, there's not a whole lot of families in China with more than 2 kids. In fact, there's a lot with 1. I really can't understand why they're doing this, but I can tell you the reason why. The reason is because Volkswagen themselves don't manufacture their cars in China. Their joint venture partner manufactures their cars for them in China. So it's much easier for their joint venture partner to ramp up in the country that has batteries everywhere. On every second corner there's a battery factory, and every second corner there's an electric car factory. You get my point, right? There's not really, but there's a lot. So that's what's happened there. Now these numbers show us what everyone already knows, but what the CEO of Stellantis, Carlos Tavares, claims is false, that consumers want electric cars. Now, if you weren't already aware, the CEO of Stellantis claims that while politicians want electric cars, consumers don't want electric cars. I'll put a link in the description below to the video I made about that idiot going on like a chicken with his head cut off and blabbing on about nonsense, because basically Stellantis are not in a position to sell enough EVs and they're about to be disrupted, and so they're whining to their mummy. Anyway, there's even better news. Volkswagen apparently has a backlog of more than 95,000 ID electric models. Here's what they said. Volkswagen achieved satisfactory sales under extremely challenging conditions, said Klaus Zellmer, board member for sales and marketing at Volkswagen. The massive effects on production brought on by the semiconductor situation could not be entirely compensated for over the course of the year, however. Nonetheless, our record-breaking order backlog of 543,000 vehicles in Europe alone, of those, 95,000 are Volkswagen IDs, shows clearly that the demand for Volkswagen vehicles continues to be very, very high. Now, I think that the backlog of orders could be a lot more than 95,000, but those are just for ID models. So if you counted, say, the Audi models, Porsche models, Skoda models, Seat models as well, we don't know what the total number is. I'm going to guess it's probably upwards of 150,000. But you can see here clearly why Tesla will more than likely win the EV sales race in Europe this year. It doesn't come down to really the vehicles themselves. Well, it does to some degree. But the number one issue that comes down to is production capacity, which Volkswagen and no other German automaker really has a lot of at this point in time in Europe. It is a fact that none of them have a gigafactory set up to efficiently produce electric cars. So the good thing is Tesla will drive and push its competitors, BMW, Mercedes, and Volkswagen and Audi and all those guys, to produce electric cars as Tesla starts to take some of their market share, which they invariably will over the next 12 months. Now, what's Volkswagen saying about 2022? Well, they expect that they'll deliver about double the number of vehicles, electric vehicles, in 2022 than they did versus 2021. But they're saying the market will remain volatile and challenging. For its part, they expect to be able to stabilize production in 2022 and to deliver on some of their record high backlog. Now, I don't think their backlog is going to decrease at all over the next 12 months. If anything, it might even increase. Now, the interesting thing is that the growth of electric car sales is easily outpacing the new car market as a whole in Europe. Now, for Volkswagen, that is very true in the United States, where they actually sold 17,000 electric cars, which doesn't sound like much. I mean, if you think about it, that's what Xpeng sold in December in China alone in a single month. And that's just a smallish startup company. But if you think about it in this context, that's actually 20 times more cars, 20 times more than they sold the previous year. Imagine the possibilities for Volkswagen if they had have been prepared for 2021. But, of course, I imagine they'll be more prepared for 2022 than they were for 2021. So my guess is they might sell 60 to 70,000 electric cars in the US alone in 2022, which would be about 4 to 5 times more than they sold in 2021. Now, that's just how I see it. It says this: great news. Tesla, BYD, and Volkswagen will become the 3 largest EV makers, and it is already too late for Toyota and the Japanese automakers to catch up. But remember, a lot of those EVs from BYD will actually have a Toyota badge slapped on the end of them. BYD will be making EVs for Toyota this year because Toyota are not ready. But hang on a minute, you say. Aren't all the Toyota fans saying that Toyota can just pivot within a matter of months and just make millions of EVs because they're huge? Can't they do that? Hey, but why are they getting BYD to make their EVs if Toyota can do it themselves? Oh, maybe they can't. Now, that's just how I see it. It says it's too late for the Toyota and the Japanese automakers to catch up. And I might add Stellantis to that as well. After all, the Japanese automakers tried to do to delay and sabotage electric vehicles, I look forward to that day. Now, I like Patrick's response. Have a listen to this. 3 roadrunners disappear over a hill. Wiley E. Toyota stands there trying to fix the leaking hydrogen tank on his Mirai with a blowtorch. Scene ends with rumble and a flash of light near the Mesa. Now, one of the most anti-Tesla people anywhere on the internet, Pitune, you've probably seen him get around. You see him everywhere. He does nothing except comment on forums. Said this: I don't understand this. It isn't too late for Toyota and the Japanese. Don't forget that 2 years ago, Volkswagen didn't even sell half the EVs of Renault 2 years ago. I'm not sure why that's relevant. It shows manufacturers can ramp up very fast once the decision is taken. So here you go, my friends. More evidence of what I'm talking about. These people who love Toyota and love legacy auto, love the status quo, are unwilling to accept facts. That is, that to sell a lot of EVs, you need to prepare many years in advance. It just doesn't happen overnight. Getting back to Volkswagen, I've got to say, they are investing $100 billion US, way more than any other company, to try to transition their entire car fleet to becoming electric. Will they succeed? It's anyone's guess, but they've got a hell of a lot more chance of succeeding than Toyota. Thanks for watching the channel, and I'll see you again on the next one. Bye-bye.